Hey, this is Jamey with Stonemaier Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in Kabuto Sumo, a dexterity game with a really nice, refreshing twist for dexterity games. Basically, in this game, you have a bunch of tokens that are on, I'll use the box as an example, it'll be easier to show that way. There is a cardboard stand, a round circle, kind of like a mini table on your table, where you will put a bunch of different wooden pieces, along with your actual piece, your insect piece that you are trying to, you're kind of your sumo wrestler on this table. And the goal of the game is either to push all of the opponent sumo wrestler tokens off the table, or to be the last player left with any pieces. Because when you push things off this little table, you collect the pieces themselves, and then you use those pieces to push back onto the tableau later, or back onto the table later. So two ways to win the game. But what I really like is the slow push. And I'll pull out the table while I'm talking about it. That in this game, you are not, in most dexterity games, there is kind of a moment where you throw caution to the wind. You're flicking something, you're throwing something, you're hitting something. Here's the table that I was talking about. But in Kabuto Sumo, all you're doing is very slowly sliding this token onto the table. And the speed of it adds to the drama of the game, particularly since all of the pieces in the game are circular. And so when you look at this table, you might think, okay, I've got the angles down, I'm going to push it just this way, and this token will hit that token, and then it'll hit the next token. But in reality, because they're circular, that's very difficult to calculate, and things can slide even just askew just slightly and change the entire way the push happens. But you are required to maintain the push in a single straight line. You can't change the path of your push as you push that token. And that can really, like kind of in slow motion, you're seeing it become much worse or even much better than you thought that push was going to do. So I love that it is slow and deliberate, a slow and deliberate dexterity game with some very odd pieces to make it so that you really don't know exactly what the outcome will be once you start to push that token onto the board. Also, just one addendum on that. I really like that they added a touch of asymmetry to the game, where each insect in the game has their own unique special piece that they get to push onto the board at a certain point in the game whenever they're ready. And these add just a little bit of asymmetric variability. I think that's really clever that they added that. So I'm just really intrigued by this. I don't think I've ever seen it before in a dexterity game where it is slow and deliberate, and you get to see kind of the train crash happening in slow motion as you push the token onto the table, or you have success where you didn't anticipate it and you get to see it in real time very slowly as you push that token. If you can think of any other dexterity games that do this, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And overall, I think it adds to a level of accessibility to players who normally wouldn't like dexterity games. I think it's a really clever twist to have that slow and deliberate nature to Kabuto Sumo. If you've also played the game and you have any other thoughts, feel free to mention them in the comments below. And any discussion about dexterity games is welcome here. Thanks.